So the general kept saying, take me as your disciple. And he said, I'll do it. It was winter. He said, I'll do it the day we have red snow. Bodhidharma said, I'll do it the day we have red snow. So the general apparently pulled off his left arm and swung it in the air. So all the blood flew out, froze and fell. So then Bodhidharma accepted him and made him the leader for all these martial exercises. And that's why if you see in Shaolin Kung Fu, when they bow like this with one hand. They don't use both hands to bow because the general didn't have a left arm.
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Secret History of India with Archana Garodia Gupta, who has written the History of India for Children. In previous episodes, we revealed how India gave the world chicken, how leopards were pets, and how Indians helped to invent mozzarella cheese. If you haven't heard these, make sure you do, and I'll put a link to the episodes right on top, and you'll be able to click them. And subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you don't miss another episode again. This time another super interesting episode in which we talk about how Shaolin's Kung Fu, immortalized by Jackie Chan in his movies, can actually attribute it to an Indian, and not many people know that. If you'd like to buy the book, there's a link in the description right below, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Did I already say that? Okay, I think you know that. Okay, and now so on to our conversation with Archana Garodia Gupta, the history buff, right here. The bell icon, subscribe, don't forget that.
Story of Bodhidharma. So again, in India we have no record of him, but in China he's there in many records. And you have paintings of his, and when you look at him, he's clearly very Indian with, curly beard and very solid frame and face and all of that. So the story which is there extant in China about Bodhidharma is that he was a prince from South India. Given at his period, he would maybe be a Pallav prince, we don't know that. And he was a Buddhist, and he gave up his throne to his brother, and he was with his guru. And then when the guru was dying, he said, go north. Your destiny lies in the north. So he went north, and then north and north and north, until he reached the capital of China, crossed the Himalayas, all of that. And there he went to the king. And the king said, I have done all of these, and am I not meritorious? And he, in a very traditional Indian guru style, he said, oh, this is worth nothing. What matters is what you have in your heart and various things. And then he just walked out. And there was a general who got so impressed by this man's courage and his thinking. So he started following him. I want to be his disciple. Then Bodhidharma came across the river, I think the Yangtze, not sure. And he threw some straw on it and he crossed the river. So the general got very excited and he threw some straw and tried to cross it, but that didn't work. He had to swim across. And he kept following Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma came to the temple of Shaolin, which was an existing Buddhist monastery. And he asked to be admitted. And the Shaolin monk said, no, we don't admit strangers. And so then Bodhidharma went and he meditated in a cave outside for many years. And if you go to the temple of Shaolin, they'll show you that cave and they'll show you an outline, and where they say, the light emanating from his body created this outline or whatever. Anyway, and the general kept waiting. So after a while, the monks admitted Bodhidharma, and they admitted the general also, though Bodhidharma had still not accepted him as a disciple. So as part of Bodhidharma found that the monks were not able to concentrate for very long. So he said, you need to be physically fit. And since he was a warrior, he had been trained as a warrior, so he had done these ancient Indian martial arts and warrior training. So he taught that to the monks there in a bid to increase their level of physical fitness so that they could sit and concentrate for longer and, generally focus more and all of that. and that is considered to be the beginning of the martial arts in Shaolin. And of course it got modified, and but if you see, it's all animal postures, which is something that comes even out of a yoga, or in Indian traditional arts, you always have a lot of this concept of animal postures. So Shaolin Kung Fu has the same kind of. And then you have an interesting thing about the general. So the general kept saying, "Take me as your disciple," and he said, "I'll do it." It was winter. He said, "I'll do it the day we have red snow." Bodhidharma said, "I'll do it the day we have red snow." So the general apparently pulled off his left arm and swung it in the air. So all the blood flew out, froze, and fell. So then Bodhidharma accepted him and made him the leader for all these martial exercises. And that's why if you see in Shaolin Kung Fu, when they bow like this with one hand. They don't use both hands to bow because the general didn't have a left arm. So you have this story. And he had a particular way of approaching God or whatever, which was dhyan. So that dhyan, so he had disciples who were Chinese and also Japanese, because Japan was closer. So this school of thought went, so in China I think it started being called the Chan school, and in Japan it started being called the Zen school, from the word dhyan. And the image of Bodhidharma was one of the main kings of Japan in those times, was a great follower of his thought. So they started this concept of the Daruma dolls. So in Japan you still have this concept. It's considered a good luck symbol. You see the doll, it looks like it has this beard, like the curly Bodhidharma beard, the typical Indian beard. And a lot of people will buy one on a particular day and they'll make a wish, and this doll is one-eyed, and once they get the wish, they'll paint in the other eye.
As I said, Daruma is a fortunate doll in Japan, which modeled after a famous Buddhist monk. The Buddhist name is Bodhidharma, and he was a founder of Zen sect in Buddhism. He is said to be born in India around 5th century. Basically, we buy Dharma without its eyes, especially when we are on serious occasions. It's like fighting. For instance, we prepare Dharma for passing exams, for winning elections. The thing is, we basically have an objective when we come to seek the power of Dharma.
And then at the end of the year, they'll destroy it. So I think more than maybe 500,000 dolls are sold every year, and the Daruma doll is still a very big thing. You can buy it on Amazon if you like.
Yeah.
So that's how that Daruma comes from Dharma, Bodhidharma, the name. That's how this Indian sage, he lives on in the histories of China and Japan, and living history.
Wow.
If you go to most Japanese houses, will have a Daruma doll. So this is the story of Bodhidharma, and it's all very well Shaolin temple annals. It's their recorded history.